Hello, hope you are having a good Friday. For your Lessonmate this week, we are going to start an introduction into ear training. Woohoo, ear training. So, I think we might have done a little bit of this before where I might be like, is this a major or minor sound? Right? Or we might have done things like that. So we're going to kind of add to that. So just as reading music and knowing our theory on the page is very important, it's really good to keep our ear strong as well. So we're going to start adding some ear training exercises to our lessons. And so we're going to start with interval identification in terms of hearing, okay? So we know a bunch of our intervals. We know we have seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, tritones, which we haven't learned about yet, and octaves, all right? So with that being said, we're going to figure out some ways in which you can know right off the top of your head and just by listening what intervals are what. So start, and here are some tools that I'm going to give you to use, and you can practice these on your own. Either someone who knows how to play piano enough to play these intervals can play them, and then you practice just saying what it is back to that person. And if you need other tools, musictheory.net also has a really good ear training intervals tool as well. So you can, it plays the interval for you, and then you multiple choice selection, and then it times you and it scores you on how many you got correct. Okay, so starting with a second. So seconds are pretty obvious or easy to identify because they're crunchy, right? Now this is a second in terms of a whole step. So this would be even crunchier because this is a half step, but we're doing a whole step second. So some ways to remind yourself of, okay, I know it's crunchy, but is it this or is it this? You're gonna wanna think about do, re, do, re, do. That's how I think about seconds, is I know that I'm going right up to the re. Otherwise it would be do. All right. A third. Again, because if you are in chorus and you have any idea of how solfege works, I love to use the solfege scale. So we have do, mi, do, mi, do. So when I hear that interval, I'm thinking like I'm almost preparing to go do, mi, so, mi, do. So we know we have a third. In lessons, we will start by doing them separated or rolled. It's much easier to identify them that way. So we'll start with that first, and then eventually I'm just going to go and expect you to know what that is. All right. All right, for a fourth, here's how I like to think of it. These are, if you know the Here Comes the Bride tune, that is a perfect fourth. Here comes the bride, all dressed in white, right? So that's what I'm listening for when I'm doing a fourth. Here comes the bride, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Another one you can do, yeah, ba-dum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-dum, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-dum. I'm trying to see if any other major ones that resonate. Can't think of any right now. Moving on. Perfect fifth. Some things, lots of songs have perfect fifths. Let's see, trying to think. So one thing that comes to mind is if you've ever seen The Wizard of Oz, and there's like the army, I think, marching outside the witch's castle, and they sing that weird song. It's like, oh, yo, yo, oh, yo. So that's the first one that comes to mind for me, fifth. Let's see, I know John Williams has a lot of them. Bum, bum. Oh, but going back to the fourth, John Williams. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. That's a good one, but I'm trying to think about fifths. I know that there are others. Oh, wee, oh, yo. Well, that's the only one I can think about right now. All right, moving on to 6. All right, so this is a major 6, and we're only working in major keys right now. I think my Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. Let's see. Another one. If you know NBC at all, the tune NBC, NBC. Do, do, do. And then, of course, we've got tritones. Now, those are really hard, so we might skip those for a while. And then, of course, we have octaves. Lots of songs have octaves in them. First one that comes to my mind is again from The Wizard of Oz. I don't know why there are so many Wizard of Oz examples, but Somewhere Over the Rainbow is a octave jump. Somewhere over the rainbow. So that is an octave. If you look up online, intervals, a whole bunch of songs and other examples will come up. There might be better ones in terms of songs that you are a little more familiar with or up to date with. But I want you to start thinking about when you're playing piano and you're practicing and you're actively playing these intervals. I really want you to listen, and kind of see, okay, well, what does these seconds sound like? Thirds, fourths, fifths, sixths, octaves. And that will also help your reading as well, because you're able to check in to make sure, okay, this looks like it's a 6. And I know what a 6 sounds like. My Bonnie, my Bonnie. So it's a good way to check in to make sure you are indeed playing the right notes and the right intervals. All right, we'll do more with this later. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and have a great rest of your week.